Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Thank you as always for your tweets. Craig here, as is Frank, and Don with his kind of disco ball in the background. Don, what is it? Is it crystals, lights, reflecting off your German?
Oh, it's little chandelier.
Look at that.
Off the Germany shirt.
Chandelier, posh, real diamonds. What?
The guy, he still lives in the 80s.
Okay. Craig, should Klopp consider always playing Fabinho in the centre-back position and as a result giving Thiago more playing time in the midfield?
No, because, I mean, they can do it, but ultimately they're going to need somebody that can break the play up in there. And so I think Fabinho will play most of his football in the middle of the park. That's not to say Thiago won't play in there as well. He can play further forward. So I don't see necessarily one dropping for the other. I think maybe against the weaker teams we might see Liverpool without a real defensive midfielder in there. But against the better teams, I don't see Fabinho fit not starting in the middle of the park.
What do you think, Frank?
Yeah, I agree. It would be a shame to not choose Fabinho. Fabinho has so much tools in his pocket that he can use to help Liverpool offensively as well. So to put him at the back, of course he has been fantastic and he can serve the club very well. But that would be quite a shame to not choose him in the middle of the park, as said Craig, to bring a plus offensively.
Don, is the number of penalties we've seen in the Premier League's first 2 weeks due to a lack of match, mental, physical sharpness?
I think that, and probably getting used to the new laws. Listen, just go back to the Victor Lindelof handball very quickly. I never thought that was a penalty in a million years. And even under the new laws and the new rules, IFAB have come up with this ball strikes an arm when it's in an unnatural position. I mean, it's the most natural position I've ever seen a Premier League player do, because he's running with his arms. It's a natural movement. It hits his arm. The proximity was half a yard away as well. So that wasn't a penalty that sat well with me. So I think we're going to see some different decisions that we all probably need to get used to.
All the boys, I think it was Shaka and Stevie on the show, they thought it was a penalty, Don. They said that there was further enough distance away from Lindelof that it was a penalty.
Well, half a yard? I mean, every ex-pro that I've spoke to or looked at their opinion on social media, I think the boys would be in the minority, because when the ball clipped off Victor Lindelof's hand, he was off RU, he was literally half a yard away, and he was only making a normal run-in action. So I'm not sure how on earth you can try and call that as a deliberate penalty. It doesn't sit well with me, that one.
Did you not see what I tweeted about it, Don?
No, what'd you say?
Nothing. I couldn't give a toss about Twitter.
Listen, do you think that's a penalty?
No, I agree with you. I agree 100% with you. I just, he was. I think it was so harsh. It was scary. But in some sense, I can see why they didn't overturn it in VAR, because they don't really want to get involved in the decision, because it did hit his hand. But I think we all know. I mean, you're right. If Victor Lindelof had been running with his arms locked into his side, would have been hammering them. So actually, here what he does, he runs normally and the ball flicks up. I just think it was so harsh, and no, I didn't think it was a penalty at all.
I think we've got to be careful, because if we start going down the route of if a ball hits a hand, it's an automatic penalty. If I'm on the angle and Frank's defending against me and I've got no chance of scoring, I've got no support, I am actually going to try and flick the ball off Frank's arm and then hope for a penalty and hope for a VAR decision. I think it's a very dangerous road to try and go down that one.
But isn't we always been calling out?
We can carry on with the debate with De Bruyne's penalty today, where of course there is a tackle from Saiss and you can say it's a foul, but the penalty should be given if you consider that there is a one chance for De Bruyne to score a goal, or to have a chance to score a goal. Do you think with De Bruyne kicking the ball away in the stands and then falling will allow him, if Saiss doesn't tackle, to go to the goal and score? That's the main problem that referees have to answer. And for me, Yes, it's a foul, but there is not a foul big enough to give a penalty. That's a problem that I have.
Frank,
also.
Frank, don't worry. Just edit that bit of nonsense out.
It's a foul, but not a penalty.
It's not a big enough foul.
Foul, but not a penalty. And I wish I hadn't started that answer.
Remember, guys, that at our time you had a indirect free kick possible in the penalty box.
Yeah, but you're now living in the 70s, Frank.
No, I don't run. I don't sing celebrate and have a disco ball in my house. No. It's just. Yeah, maybe there was another time, but you have to consider everything. In Lindelof, penalty is the same. You know, when you are too close to the ball.
A foul. You said it's a foul. It's a foul. It's a penalty.
No. A foul is not the foul.
Of course it is. A foul is a foul. That's it. If you foul him in the box, it's a penalty.
Why the ref doesn't give a yellow card to Mendy in a foul on Traore? Tell me why. If it's a foul, it's a foul. If it's a foul that you do it on purpose, it's a yellow card. So
but
why the ref doesn't give a foul?
Not every foul is a yellow card. That's subjective. But every foul in the box is a penalty if it's a foul. Don't worry, Frank. We'll edit this bit out. You're okay.
So no, it's okay. It's okay. It's just
I'll edit
so
it out
you
for
consider now. If the ball goes to your hand, it's a penalty. So why do you debate on Lindelof?
No, because it's not a penalty if the ball automatically strikes your hand. But if they say the hands, as Don explained, is in an unnatural position, which it wasn't because Lindelof was running, unless he runs with his hands at his side, I don't know where he has to put them. And the proximity of the attacker and him was half a yard or a yard at most. So anyway, I don't know. Well, you've confused me.
Frank, when you're running for your next bottle of wine, just have a little look at your hands. I bet they're sort of doing that little motion there.
Frank has wine brought to him. He doesn't have to run anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't
Yeah.
run. He doesn't run. All the time he raises his hands when he clicks his fingers like that.
Then the butler comes.
Bring me.
Yeah, we'll check out the butler then. See if his hands are in a natural
Exactly.
position.
Don, do you think Pochettino will be the manager of Chelsea or Manchester United by the end of the season?
No, I don't. I think the next big one that's probably going to come to the Premier League, and it's only a matter of time, is probably Nagelsmann at Leipzig. I think he's probably on everyone's lips at the moment.
Where's he going to go?
Say again?
Where's he going to go?
I don't know at the minute. I mean, depends on how Ollie does. Listen, if Ollie bombs in the next 4 or 5 games, he's going to be under pressure. Exactly the same as Frank. You know, these guys have been brought in to try and get closer to Man City and Liverpool and try and deliver some domestic trophies. So we'll have to wait and see over the next probably month on how Chelsea and Man United do.
Craig, have you ever seen a footballer transform their body to approach the game differently like DeChambeau did in the golf, and did it pay off like Bryson?
Well, I've seen bodies change for the worse.
How is Stevie?
And it didn't pay off. But I do know some guys have gone down the road of going in the gym and really trying to bulk up, and they've had to go back the way, put it that way, because I've known some players that have went too much on bulk, particularly in the top half, and it's just affected their speed and their movement and stuff, and so they tailed it back. And of course, the strength conditioning is exactly that now. Strength conditioning. It's not muscle bulk, which is completely different. When you're talking about muscle bulk, you're looking at Bryson DeChambeau, and you're talking about bulk. That is different from strength conditioning. So, no, I don't. I mean, there's a few smaller players that, you think, like Phil Foden, Christian Pulisic, maybe in some sense, Mason Mount at Chelsea. These sort of younger, smaller guys, there's an argument for them sort of bulking up a little bit. But as for the kind of bigger guys, I don't think it really works.
Don, would you spend any time in the gym when you were playing?
No, I couldn't stand being in the gym when I was playing until I got later on, and I realised the benefits of it. And that was probably coming back from my ACL injury. But it never really suited me. I'd never had the physique. I was a cross-country runner, so trying to bulk up and eat 10,000 calories a day, I just couldn't physically do. So I don't think we'll ever see a footballer like DeChambeau. It just, weight training, and as Craig said, it has to be sport specific. There's no point in everyone trying to be like Traore, because you would lose different parts of your game. You wouldn't, De Bruyne would be no good if he bulked up and become, the size of Traore. He probably wouldn't have the same feet and the same running gait. So they're very few and far between, I would imagine.
Frank?
Yeah, I don't know. After my career, I started to work out, and if I knew, I would have gone maybe more often during my career. I think to work on my upper body. I didn't want to touch a little bit of pace that I had, the anticipation that I could get, and maybe arriving before the strikers, before him into the ball. So that was a question that I had during my career, but didn't really want to move my body until the end of my career, because it was suiting me the way that I was. But when I see Van Dijk, when I see some others now in the modern football, maybe I would have more power to fight with the big British strikers, and it would have helped me out. But too late.
Do you know, Dan, I went to the gym more when I finished playing than when I played. And do you know why?
No.
Because nobody was telling me to go to the gym.
Right, so that makes sense.
And so when somebody's... No, but it's true. And when people are trying to, Frank will tell you, the Italian guys that we played with, and also Ravanelli at Derby when I played with them, they came from a mindset. And I think it was Ravanelli and Vialli when they were strike partners at Juventus under Lippi, and that hugely successful Juventus team. They were fighting to get in the gym first every morning. I mean, the whole mindset is just completely different. And we'd never seen anything like it when those boys came over. With British guys, and Frank knows, the British guys trained just as hard, but they didn't do the extra training before training and after training in the gym. These guys were incredible athletes.
Well, if you follow Frank on Instagram, you can see some of his topless pictures from now. And he's looking pretty good, Craig, I gotta say. Final question. Don, who was the most intelligent player in footballing terms you guys have played with?
Oh, I think Johnny Barnes comes to mention at Liverpool. Yeah. Dan, he was just so smart. He was one of the best wingers that I think the country's ever seen. And then he's transformed himself when I was coming through into Liverpool's first team as being a central midfield player, because he knew the game. He was smart. He knew different positions. He'd lost that little bit of speed, but for Barnsley it was not a problem because he went into central midfield. You couldn't get the ball off him. Everything about him, his way to pass and his vision, his anticipation of where players are going to be was second to none, really.
Frank?
Well, definitely Zinedine Zidane. We are talking about the intelligence of football, I guess, and Zinedine was feeling everything. I mean, that's more than instinct. It's like you were born for that. You dedicated to that, and you made the right choice. And Zizou felt everything. I mean, you don't score 2 goals in a World Cup final like that. It's because you feel the thing. It's because you are the player that you are, and because you know that you have to do it, and you will do it, and it's why it's my choice.
Wow. Does Zidane think a foul in the box is a penalty?
Maybe.
Craig?
Not necessarily the best player that I play. I mean, bloody good player, but I not necessarily the best player, but clever. I would say Henrik Larsson. Because his understanding of his role and his movement and his understanding of the picture of what was around him, and just knowing, anticipating almost like a chess move, 1 or 2 moves ahead. And that's why he played for as long and played for the clubs that he did and had the success that he did. And he was a nightmare for defenders because his movement and his game understanding was just absolutely fantastic.
Good stuff, boys. As always, thank you very much. Oh, Craig's just turned off already. That's it, he's gone. We'll be back here tomorrow for more. Be sure to join us. Until then, goodbye. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.